Good morning and welcome to another day of science. Here we are, week 8, and we're down on to Thursday. Just a quick heads up, we will be having a little chemistry quiz next week on Tuesday. So Monday I'll have a study guide for you to work on, or tomorrow actually I'll post a study guide for you to work on. And Monday we'll do a little review, and then Tuesday we'll have a quiz. Just wanted to give you a heads up, and that'll be sort of the end of our chemistry section before moving on to something new. But just want to make sure everyone knew ahead of time that quiz will be Tuesday next week. All right, so for today, we're going to do some drawing of chemical bonds. Before we've looked at drawings of chemical bonds, only I created them and you just had to determine whether they were ionic or covalent. So in this activity, you guys will actually be the ones doing and creating the drawings of the chemical bonds. So for Thursday, there's a walkthrough video, which you're obviously watching now, and then a chemical bonds drawing assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And it says, in this assignment, you will draw chemical bonds on a sheet of paper, take a picture of your drawings and attach them to this assignment, and submit this completed assignment. Make sure you're watching the walkthrough videos. It shows how to do all this stuff. The two bonds you need to create are CaCl2, and think about what that 2 means, and then Kf, which is potassium and fluorine. Those are the ionic bonds, and the covalent bonds are CH4. So one atom of carbon, 4 atoms of hydrogen, and then CO2. As I said, you can either draw out the pictures on a sheet of paper and then take a picture and send it to me, or what I've done is I've attached a Google Doc that's called Chemical Bond Pictures, and you can do what we did previously. Think back to a couple weeks ago when you drew pictures of atoms and use some of the shapes here to actually draw the atoms as well. So it's your call whether you want to draw it on paper or create them in Google Drawings and then share it that way with me. I did a couple examples here. Let me pull up my examples real quick. So I did an example here. This is MgCl2, so I just drew this one on paper. And what you'll see here is magnesium and chlorine 2. So here's my magnesium atom, and again, I know what it looks like because I find it on ptable.com. It tells me it has 2, 8, and 2 for the electron shells, 2, 8, and then 2 right here. And then chlorine, you'll notice there's 2 chlorine atoms, hence the Cl2. And ptable.com tells me that chlorine is 2, 8, and then 7. And so what you will need to do in your drawings, and this is what I've done as an example, is we know atoms want to have 8 electrons in their outer shell. So each chlorine has 7, and the magnesium has 2 extra, so I just drew with arrows the magnesium sending one of its extra electrons to one chlorine, sending the other extra electron to the other chlorine, so then this chlorine would have 8. There we go. This chlorine would have 8 electrons in its outer shell. This chlorine has 8 electrons in its outer shell, and the magnesium gets rid of both of these, and so it would be left with 8 electrons in its outer shell as well. So there's an example of an ionic drawing that I did. Then a covalent bonding example that I drew was water, or H2O. And so you'll see here's each of my hydrogens, which just has 1 electron because that's all it has. And then my oxygen here in the middle has 2, and then 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we know with covalent bonds that they don't transfer electrons, they don't get rid of them, they share them. So kind of what I've done here is shown this double-sided arrow where hydrogen would be sharing this electron with the oxygen. So then the oxygen would have 1 over here, and then this hydrogen would be doing the same thing. So that would get the oxygen up to 8 electrons. So again, you can either do this in Google Drawings if you want to, or you can just draw it on a sheet of paper and then take a picture of that with, you can take a picture of it with your camera on your Chromebook, or if you've got a phone and you can upload and attach it that way, whatever way works best for you, or you can do it in Google Drawings. So you guys have to create 4 examples. You need to create ionic bond of CaCl2 and potassium fluoride, Kf, and then you need to create a covalent bond of CH4 and CO2, and complete those pictures and send it to me. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm planning to do sort of an office hours tomorrow. I'll post that time and I'll post a link for Google Meet office hours for tomorrow. So if you guys have questions, you can hop on there and let me know. and ask questions that way. Um, but other than that, good luck and happy drawing.